Hey everyone, Dan at Ochka Bushcraft. Well, I thought it would be cool to come out today and do a fire tinder shootout. I've got four popular commercial brands of tinder here, ones that I have used, and you can pick up pretty much at any Bi-Mart, Walmart, um, outdoor store. So I've got Fire Paste, Coghlan's. I've done a review on this. I've got some Coghlan's supposedly waterproof, we'll find out, fire starters. These are quick fire tinder tabs. Got a whole baggie of those. And Pro Camp Tech fire plugs. Again, with all of those, I have some pet balls. That is cotton balls saturated in petroleum jelly. I've got my Monster 8-inch ferro rod from Bushcraft Outfitters. Leatherman rebar. I'm going to be using the saw as my striker. And I got a spray bottle of water here because we're going to give that two tests. We're going to test them head to head, and then we're going to wet them down and test them again and see how they come out when they're all wet. And finally, for me, after this exhausting test, Vienna sausages. Because obviously this is a lot of work. Anyway, guys, just having fun out here, having a blast. So again, I thought it'd be cool because I've used these in different kits. I've carried this big tube of paste with me. These Pro Camp Techs, I actually have some in my pocket right now of the fire plugs. They're just so convenient. So let's go over the advantages and disadvantages of each, and then we'll set up and we'll do a showdown. Fire paste. Biggest advantage is disadvantage is the size and weight. The thing is just bulky and takes up a lot of room in the pack. And then I've read of others who've had issues with the tube getting punctured and different things and making a mess in their pack. These little Coghlan's, these are just kind of like, I would call a cheapie that you find hanging with all the other Coghlan stuff in Bi-Mart. You usually find a lot of their brand, and they're not that great. That's all I can pretty much say. And again, we'll see as we go. The little quick fire tinder tabs, Best Glide is the brand on these. The only reason I really bought these is I was looking for something really tiny that I could shove into the pouch on knife sheaths. And so I could put 3 of these in a pouch real easy. But they don't give a lot of burn time. The fire plugs are definitely a step up, giving a much longer burn time. But again, on all of these, you have to go out and buy them or order them, and they are all more expensive than simply making pet balls at home. On the other side, advantage of the pet balls, again, you go to the dollar store, you buy a big jar of petroleum jelly, you buy a big bag of jumbo 100% cotton balls, and then you make up as needed at home. Convenience, however, if someone is in just a flat out absolute hurry, on the go, heading for the woods, last minute notice, having something like this that you can just stick a baggie in your pocket. And that's the reason I buy these. I still on occasion use these because they're so quick and easy, and I've always got them in my pocket. And if for some reason I've gotten lazy, pretty much bottom line, and not made up a fresh batch of pet balls. Okay, let me pause you guys. Let's set up everything here and start testing. So let's move my water down here out of the way. We'll use that on the second test. Okay, got everything out except for the fire paste. Fire plug, quick tinder tab, the little Coghlan's fire starter. I've got a pet ball right here. And I've got some fire paste. And we'll go ahead and make a little pile of that about the size of one of these. Let's see, I want to do it right where you guys can see. So let's go. There we go. That's a decent size gob. And that one, I'm not going to be able to just fling off there. So we'll probably light that one first since I can't move it around. So preparation. You need to get a fire going, whichever one you've got. What's preparation? Well, with the fire paste you just saw, I unscrew the cap, I squirt some out, we're done. That's all the preparation involved in that. The fire plug over here on this side, well, we either got to break it or we got to cut it. I find if you break them, they fluff up more. Then we got to turn these fibers inside out because it will not light if you don't get some of these small fibers turned out to catch a spark. So half there. We'll just do the two halves together like it's one. So this has obviously taken me some time. If I'm in a hurry to get a fire going and I'm freezing and my hands are shivering, you know, just imagine dexterity right now. My hands are shivering. I'm trying to pull this. This isn't easy to do. In a real emergency situation, so far this would be my least favorite because that is a lot of dexterity work with shaking cold hands. Quick Tinder tab. Again, we just got to open up one end. So that was a lot quicker and easier, but you're going to find out with this, the burn time is very, very limited. So what if we're out here in snowy, rainy weather and everything we've got is wet? We need a longer burn time. And finally, the Coglins. This thing is an absolute pain. This is the worst of all of them. I would not recommend these, period, to anybody. Sorry to say, this thing is just a pain to open up and pull apart and get to some dry fibers. And if my hands were shaking right now, it's so slippery on the outside with whatever they impregnated it with for fire starting that I wouldn't even be able to hang on to it to do this. This is just a ridiculous amount of work for not that great of a fire starting source. Okay, and my hands are all slippery now, and so I'm gonna wipe my hands off before I do the cotton ball. Okay, finally the cotton ball preparation. We got to turn it inside out. So turn it this way and open it this way, and we're done. Only downside, again, gloves or pant legs or something, my fingers have Vaseline on them. So, preparation time to get your fire going. Squeezing something out of a tube is the easiest. These three up here, if I was chilled right now, and maybe I fell in the creek, you know, I've been crossing back and forth on ice for the past couple of weeks, getting up here to different areas. Maybe I fell through the ice, my hands are soaking wet and cold, and they're like this. I wouldn't want any one of those three. The cotton ball, it was just 2 quick pulls, it's inside out. That's fine. Okay, let's light these up. Now I'm gonna try to do them one at a time, so I'm gonna pull the rest out of the way. So what you can do on your end, if you wanna time them, as I light them, you know, if you wanna, you can, to see which one burns the longest. But to see what lights the easiest and what lights the hardest, I'm gonna move everything back out of the way. And the fire paste, okay. Using just a ferro rod. Let's start with the fire paste, see what happens. There. So not bad, 4 little strikes. And again, if you want to time each one, you can start timing the fire paste, and then you just have to kind of rewind this video and do the others. So there's the fire paste. Now I don't want it to ignite anything else over here. That's going to be a little tricky. Let's do, this is the Coughlin's fire starter. Let's set it over here, right where you guys can see it still. Okay, this is the Coughlin's. Let me come around here. And if I can't get it in 10 good strikes, I'm going to call it a failure. Okay, Coughlin's fire starting tab is a failure. I've got that opened up. I had to fight with it to open it up. Let's see if it'll even burn. We'll put it next to the fire here. There. So I had to use fire to ignite it. So unless I have a lighter or windproof, waterproof matches, that's a no-go. I'm calling that a failure. That's this little one. Coughlin's waterproof fire starters comes with a little striker, which isn't worth its weight, my opinion. And again, if you want to time that, you can, but I call that a failure. If I can't start it with a ferro rod, it's a failure. Okay. I'm going to be a little pressed for room here. Here's the little quick Tinder tab. These usually light pretty easy. I'll put that right there. There. So it took just a couple quick strikes and it caught a spark right away. But as you'll see, if you go, like I said, if you time each one of these individually, you'll have to watch this video, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That is going to be out in less than a minute. It's already down to its final flame. The paste has still got a little bit of flame to it. This Coughlin's fire tab is burning very, very well, but we had to have flame from a match or a lighter or something to ignite it. It would not ignite with sparks, and it was the hardest of all of them to open. All right. I won't move anything off the block of wood until it's completely out. That way you guys can time. So here is the fire plug, and we tore it into 2 pieces because of its size. We'll just kind of put it right there. Now that one's out, so I'm going to get rid of it. The quick Tinder tab is out. Fire paste still has a little tiny bit of flame, and it is officially out. So clock ends on those 2. Fire paste, clock ends. Quick Tinder tab, clock ends. Fire plug. One strike. Okay. And we'll go ahead and do the cotton ball with Vaseline. We'll put it right here. One strike. So fire plug, 1 strike. Cotton ball with Vaseline, 1 strike. This thing, no strikes at all. The other 2, the fire paste burned for a few minutes. For those of you who are timing it, I don't know how long, but the quick Tinder tab was out pretty quickly. So only thing I can do, if I pause the video or anything, you're not going to know how long these burn. So about the only thing I can do is, if you're wanting to time them and see how long each one lasts is to just let this video run. Now the biggest flame, obviously the biggest flame of all, is the cotton ball saturated with petroleum jelly. So in a situation where everything is wet and damp and you need the biggest flame, let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to say the hottest flame, the biggest flame and the hottest flame, and something that strikes with one spark. Your pet ball would be your first option. Your fire plug would be your second option. Again, this is the first test. We're going to lay all these out again. Well, you know what? We won't do the Coglins again because it was a failure. It would not ignite with a fire rod, a ferro rod. So again, I'm calling it a failure. The other ones we're going to lay out. We're going to spray them with water and then prep them and see if they will ignite. So that one is finally going out, the little Coglins. So the good thing about it, I guess, is it had a lot of burn time. But if you need to start a fire with a ferro rod or a flint and steel, now I didn't think of bringing one, but I know the pet ball will ignite with a simple little tiny spark of a flint and steel. The others, from experience, I think would be pretty challenging to do that. This is out. I'm getting rid of it. Put that out. And 1/2 of this is now burned out. Okay. So, really, in this first test, I'm going to say the easiest to light, pretty much even between the pet ball and the fire plug. I'd give a slight edge to the pet ball. Hottest flame and biggest flame, pet ball. Least expensive of the two, by far, the pet ball. And it looks like the fire plug is going to slightly outlast the pet ball. But that gave us plenty of time. So these are my two favorites right here anyway. I buy the fire plugs. You can get them from Bushcraft Outfitters. In the description, along with, this is the 8-inch ferro rod from Bushcraft Outfitters. In the description, I'll mention it. If you use the code OCHCO, any survival gear, any bushcraft gear that you buy, fire plugs, ferro rod, whatever, you get a discount. Everything's out now. Use the code OCHCO. I buy the fire plugs strictly for convenience. When I was making up a bunch of kits, I bought a big baggie of them. I put some in my pocket kit, some in my truck kit, some in each one of my survival kits, some in my day packs, just kind of spread little baggies out all over, because it was just more convenient than to make up 6 different baggies, more like maybe 8 different baggies of pet balls. But when I'm serious about coming out here in this weather and I'm going to have my winter survival pack, and I know I'm going to be up here in the snow, I'm going to be up here crossing creeks, the pet balls are something that goes with me. Okay. Pause, you guys, and we'll set up again. We'll water everything down, and we'll see how they ignite and burn wet. Okay, I've got each one laid out. Again, I'm not doing the Coglins fire starter because it was a failure. It would not ignite with sparks, and these have to ignite with sparks. So I've got a bottle of water. And I'm going to give each one an equal amount of shots. So here's the fire paste. 1, 2, 3. Here's the quick tinder tab. 1, 2, 3. Here's the fire plug. 1, 2, 3. Here's the pet ball. 1, 2, 3. Everything got 3 squirts. They're equally wet. Okay, I'm going to move them back. We'll do one at a time. Let's see. Fire paste, there's nothing I can do. The others are supposed to be waterproof on the outside so that I can prep them and hopefully light. So it's raining. They're all three wet in the rain. Okay, the fire paste will not light. There's no way. I guess what I could do, this would be kind of a pain. It's pouring down rain. My fire paste got wet. I managed to shelter it, spread it out. Let's see now. So no, I spread it out. I turned it over thinking that the bottom would be dry. There, finally found a little bit of a dry spot that would catch. In my mind, that's just too risky. That was just 3 little squirts. A heavy rain. I wouldn't want to risk it. Okay, we'll just use my water bottle and wet that spot down. All right. Let's try the others out. They all got 3 shots of water. Here's the quick Tinder tab. The inside should be dry, or at least it's supposed to be dry. It's catching slowly. It's gonna burn, wet, but that's not much of a flame. That's only a little flame, and that was just 3 shots of water. I'm thinking a little bit more of a downpour. It's barely gonna burn, and it's out. It just went out, so it would not continue to burn. Okay, fire plugs. Should be a little bit better here. Again, have to work at it though. That's the big issue right now. Gotta work at it. Gotta open this up. The outside's supposed to be waterproof. Well, I tell you what, and it's the first time I've done this, they are harder to open when they've been wet on the outside. Just so you know, I'm actually having more trouble hanging on to it. More trouble getting it to open up. It's turning into a lot of work. The fibers are heavy on the outside. They're not wanting to fluff on the inside. Okay, that's just too much work. That's too big of a time. I'm in a hurry to get a fire going. It's an emergency situation. My hands are cold, my hands are wet. I'm fighting with that thing. It's wet now. Let's see if it'll light. Okay, it will light. But again, look how small the flame is compared to last time. And it's supposed to be waterproof on the outside. 3 shots of water. It's just giving me a little tiny flame. It's not doing much. And I'll tell you what, that was a pain. If my hands were shaking, I don't know if I would have got that open or not. Oh, where'd my stick go? Okay, this thing got beads of water sitting on top of it right now. 2 quick pulls. Each direction. So that by far was the easiest to deal with, being wet. And it still lights with 1 strike. And although the flame is not quite as big as it was the first time, it is by far the biggest flame, and in all reality, the only flame that I would want to try to get a fire going with if everything was wet. Everything else turned into just a little tiny, barely burning flame after it got wet. Look at the pet ball. Look at that pet ball go. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Let's give it a little wind. Look at that. Oh, wind's not going to blow it out. Got a little more rain. Wow, the wind and the rain aren't putting it out. Look at that thing go. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the undefeated lightweight fire starting champion of the world, the pet ball. So there you have it, guys. 4 or 5 different fire starters, commercial brands. You know, I know this isn't all of them. I know there's other stuff out there, but this is pretty much representative of what there is. I believe you're going to have pretty much the same results with any brand. So for real survival with weather conditions that are very harsh, we'll say, rain, wind, cold, and your materials around you are wet, and you need something that's going to burn if it gets wet and still put up a big flame and burn for several minutes and cost the less. The only thing is just the time it takes to make up some at home. Ziploc bag full of pet balls. My opinion, by far, your best option. Just shot it again with a couple more shots of rain. I still got fire. So there it is, Dan at Ochiko Bushcraft. And as I said at the beginning, after all this hard work, I'm going to reward myself with Vienna sausages. Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video and hope you got something out of it. And if you don't know how to make the pet balls, I have done a video in the past on making them. It's really easy. Go to the dollar store, get a 100% pure cotton jumbo cotton balls, big bag of 100, a container of petroleum jelly, and basically you just start rubbing it in, goop them up, and I usually put them in a Ziploc bag and then just put that bag in my pack, in my pocket, wherever. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.